Right? And then endeavors, she's like, Rhiannon's like me.
Now take it
like me. Like, welcome back to the FanTEAsy podcast, where two besties spill all the delicious tea on the books we read. I'm Callie, and my bestie is Montana.
We are so excited to be back covering our series on Fourth Wing. In this episode, we are covering chapters 26 through 28, so a little bit shorter for those of you who have been sticking this out with us. We are dividing the book into 8 sections, and each episode we are diving into the characters, the world, the dragons, signets, and even some fan theories. So please take note and prepare to enter Basgiath War College.
Ooh, we are in the Writer's Quadrant. It is such a full deep dive and breakdown here on Fourth Wing. If you have not read all of the books, please go and finish and then rush back here. We will be discussing all of the Empyrean series in each episode, even if we are just covering a few chapters per episode. That means that we probably will say something that you maybe don't want to hear. So please go read. We are only human and we try to cover the specific episodes, chapters, but it doesn't always happen. We say this, we are human. Our mouths work faster than our brains and things come out. We do not want to spoil anything. So please, please, please go read it. We want to talk about it. Come back. Enjoy the podcast.
Along with not wanting to spoil the journey of the story, please take note that we're adults. We're having adult conversation. You know, there's technically trigger warnings. There's murder and weapons and fighting and violence and swearing. You know, just all the things. All the good things that make a book, but we're rating this episode R. Also, if you are a fan of the FanTEAsy podcast, please consider leaving us a review and a rating wherever you are listening or watching, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We love having new supporters, and we love all the supporters that we currently have, but let's help the algorithm do its thing.
Yay! With that, are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready. These were really good chapters.
These were like, I was going to say quick, but they weren't really that quick, but there was a lot. These are good. These are...
Yeah. Literally the last line of chapter 28, just no matter how many times I've read this book and know it's going to happen, it gives me chills.
Every time. Like immediate goosebumps, and yeah, you're skipping way ahead. But chapter 26 is one of my favorites because we get like full circle moments in this, and I love that.
Now, before we dive into our chapters, what era are you in today?
Era, ooh. You know, normally I think about this before we get on the podcast, and I did not today at all. I haven't been thinking about it. Let's see. I would probably be... Speak Now, if I'm being honest.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of a throwback. Also a little bit of Midnights, though.
Yeah.
Always love Midnights.
Okay.
Where are you?
Well, you know, it's funny because I always try to like think of it before we record too, and I was like, oh, Reputation, and now I'm like, but am I? Because now I'm kind of like folklore.
Oh, wait, that's
very night and day different.
Very. That's okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my melancholy attitude that's kind of settled in throughout this day.
I was gonna say, you started out with a bang, and now you're like, okay, we're gonna record. We're chill.
Exactly.
We be chilling.
Are you ready to give us our 26 through 28 monologue?
I am. I have it.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes, queen. Okay. Chapter 26. With squad battle victory added to their belts, the squad is feeling pretty amped up as they head out to their first post to shadow some real riders. Whoop whoop. What Violet and Rhiannon don't know is this specific post they are heading will be the best thing for their spirits and hearts. Of course, with every rider comes a dragon, but in Violet's case comes a really hot and sexy and sneaky shadow daddy. Chapter 27. Mira is not only a badass on a dragon, but she is also incredibly smart and clearly has little patience for stupidity. She sets up an exercise for the riders to really envision what it will be like when they're outside of the college walls. But when real life takes over and shit hits the fan, the squad is left scrambling to retreat back to the safety of the college, except for Violet, who wants to stay to help her sister. Satan has other plans as he plants a big fat kiss on her lips and sends her sailing into Terran's grip. Chef's kiss. Chapter 28. War Games is underway, and who will be the victor? I feel like that kid, the announcer from Harry Potter. Anyway, the goal is to retrieve the other team's egg and also protect their flag. But of course, it wouldn't be an epic fantasy without a little drama, and who else to add than Jack fucking Barlow. Of course, he comes back into play in one of the worst ways, but he isn't the only one here with the power, as Violet has cracked open and finally releases her signet power. Woohoo! That's it. That's your chapter 26, 28 time read.
It's just so, it seems so short, but it's not, because there's
I
so much
know.
to unpack here.
I didn't want to give too much away in the overall summary,
Yeah.
but there's a lot in these chapters. That was just the bread, and now we got to get the butter.
Get the butter. Oh my gosh. So what is our chapter 26 summary before we really pick this one apart?
Dive in. After winning squad battles, Violet and the gang make their way to Montserrat as their reward. As they land and make their way into post, about to find out who they were shadowing while they were there, the world shifts, and around the corner comes 3 riders, one of which is Mira! Yay!
Yay!
After their reunion, the squad breaks down for the night, but Rhiannon and Violet are quick to make a plan for while they are here. Just up the road is Rhiannon's family. And although it goes against the rules, Vi and Rhi make a plan to go see them. When Mira finds them sneaking out, she is quick to try and stop them, but after some easy convincing, she goes along with them to keep them safe. When the family gathering is over and the 3 go to leave, one unexpected shadow daddy is outside waiting for them.
Unexpected shadow daddy.
Ugh. Could you just like imagine though, like you walk out the door and he's just like leaning like against the side of the house, just like,
Because you know he always is leaning.
yeah, arms
Like,
crossed, like
just
leaning.
always. He's
He
always
is.
I'm not
Yeah.
mad about it.
He gets me excited, and now I'm riled up thinking about him just
Leaning.
leaning. Like it's
It's
so
the
sexy.
simple things. Hey, it can be.
It is. It really is. Anywho.
I love this. It's interesting. The excerpt is, there is no stronger bond than that between 2 mated dragons. It goes beyond the depth of human love or adoration to a primal, undeniable requirement for proximity. One cannot survive without the other. And this is Colonel Kaori's Field Guide to Dragonkind. So he knows what he's talking about, right? And people kind of question, like, really, they have to be that close, like within so many days, but it's literally in their education, like, yes. So stop questioning it. Thanks.
It's
Okay, bye.
not a want, it's a need. It's a have to be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which I think is the perfect segue for this whole chapter, because that's how it ends with it's been
literally
all of like 24
beginning to
hours
end.
and well, I guess at that point it's like 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
3 days, yeah. But literally,
could you imagine though the feeling immediately? Rhiannon's like, my village is less than an hour away on foot, like we are right here, and
on foot,
it's like yeah, not even with dragon, like on foot, like so close, yet you feel so far. I couldn't even imagine, like, of course, they go and they get there, but like, could you imagine if they couldn't have made it, how hard that would be for her?
It would be like, okay, well, first of all, I thought of like when you're road tripping, sidebar, when you're road tripping and you're like almost home from the vacation and you're like that last hour feels like the longest hour ever in a car, needless to say, but like that
Yes,
last
I
hour,
just did it.
that's the feeling of like, I just want to be there, but it's like still so far. Which, yes, thankfully they do get to go see her, but like especially the reasoning of like her sister was having a baby, and
Yeah.
no, I yeah, moved home to be closer to my family because one, I have kids, and then my sister had kids, and like I need to be close to them as much as I want to live in the same state as you again. God, this is bullshit. It's like you just I couldn't. And then there's no contact between them because they're at the college, and there's the no
Yeah.
contact for while you're there, and like no, it's BS. I would just be pissed. So for
It
them to
is.
be like seeking out to break the rules, like 100%, I would do the same thing.
That's such a valid reason to do so. And also,
Yes.
you used to live 20 minutes away from me if you were
Hmm.
driving slow. Like, and sometimes that felt far. And now I'm like,
It
oh,
would take an hour
okay, it's like
easily.
almost 20 hours.
Well, right.
It's fine.
Which is just not fair because all of our
And
conversations are through tiny little screens, and it's not
two
fair.
time zones.
Two time
Two
zones
time
away.
zones.
Okay, well, daylight savings will come back
Bullshit.
around, and then it'll only be an hour again.
Okay, guys, my family and I just went on a road trip 2 weeks ago, and when we crossed into Mountain Time Zone, I mean Arizona's Mountain Time Zone, but into like the next time zone up,
Yes.
I texted Callie. I was like, "I'm in the next time zone. I already feel closer to you."
I think you even said you're like, I'm 8 hours away. This is the closest we've been in over a year.
It's the
I could feel
proximity.
you.
It's the presence.
What else do we got here? Yeah, less than an
Well,
hour
you
away.
know, yeah, and Rhiannon's talking about that, and casually like, okay, yeah, we're gonna figure it out. Violet bump into Mira, like, okay, so now we've got both family meetings happening, and you're just like, oh, so cute.
It's full circle moment of this chapter. We love to see it.
I do. It's such a feel good type of thing.
It's like the little glimmer, the silver lining of the book before shit gets
Yeah,
wild. That's what this chapter
we
is.
we get these moments and where it's like Riddick makes us laugh, or we have these cute little happy family moments, and then we're just like, now I'm gonna go cry.
Mm,
But yeah, like you said in our summary, Mira catches them, and Violet's just like, you know what? She's gonna figure it out. We've got to tell her. So Rhiannon's like, well, we are going to my family. It's a 5-minute flight.
it's gotta happen.
Oh, it does, and I feel like Mira, just like how she was in the very beginning, she's like, you're not dead. I'm so happy that you're here. You've made it. I'm so proud of you. Like, she's starting to hype her up too, and even says, I honestly don't know what I expected. I was just desperate for you to live, and then you went and not only bonded one of the most powerful dragons alive, but a feather tail too. My baby sister is a badass.
A badass.
Like,
Yes.
that just is so sweet. That I love that. She's like, yeah, good for you.
Mm-hmm. But like, are you surprised? Because Mira, you shouldn't be. I mean, her and Brennan both like prepared her for being in the writer's quadrant, so she should have had like a little less, a little
Yeah.
more. Yeah, I don't know. Like your expectation was really low, apparently, if you just like wanted her to live.
Well, it's okay. She surpassed the expectation, and
Yeah,
you know,
by a
even Mira's like,
landslide.
do you really think they're gonna tell you everything in battle brief? Like, come on, Violet, you were supposed to be a scribe, really? But we get
True.
this just chunk, huge, huge foreshadow chunk in one sentence. And the first time I read it, I was just like, oh, weird. And now I'm
Oh,
like,
weird.
oh, jaw hit the floor.
Like I could have sworn I saw a riot of dragons across the border during this attack. She shrugs, but questions about the secret operations are above my pay grade. Think of it this way: if you were a healer, would you need to know the details about everyone else's patients? I like how she says
Truth.
it, bomb drops, and then just like casually moves on.
She's like, yeah, don't care.
Yeah.
I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Why worry about it? It's nothing I need to stress about, which I wish I had more of, but yeah, just shrugs it off.
You and I don't have that chill.
No, I have no chill.
No,
Like,
not at
your
all.
problem is my problem.
Literally, it's a problem in itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A riot of
You know, it's just
dragons.
it truly is a if you know, you know. But like, obviously, we haven't gotten that far in the book, but there are no other riots of dragons.
No.
Not at their post.
No. No.
Ah.
It's killer. It's killer that you just. And yeah, same. Like when you very first read it, like Mira, you're just like, okay, move along. But during
Yeah,
our
like, oh, weird.
reread,
All
you're
right.
like, what the hell? She's been telling us all
Mm-hmm.
along.
Yeah, literally, and she's not even fully aware of what's going on because she's just
Mm-mm.
so. I don't want to say brainwashed, but that is exactly what it is, and it's not like
Yeah.
it's just that's what they were taught, that's what they believe, so that is it.
And they believe in the good of Navarre and not
Mm-hmm.
in the secrecy that really goes on. And so, yeah, for her in her position, especially as she's like higher ranked and like moving up and these types of
Yeah,
things, like you don't question what you're told, especially in like a military setting.
yeah, exactly.
It's just
I mean,
wild.
that's just yeah, and Mira kind of just keeps moving on, and she's like, "Now tell me what the fuck is going on between you and Dane." And you're like, "Here we
Mm-hmm.
go."
Mm-hmm. Enter. Say it.
TMD. Too much Dane.
Too much Dane. Oh my god.
Do we need the backstory of this? Because it's pretty funny.
It is a cute little story. I go ahead. Because when you you called me. You're like, this is so
I called.
important.
So it was later in the evening, and I'm visiting family in another state, and I heard this commercial on the TV, and it was like, "Are you experiencing TMD?" And it was like too much Dale or something like that, and I was like, too much Dane. So immediately I FaceTime Callie. I'm like, this is so important. We have to talk about this right now. And then we're just both like crying, laughing because like, oh, TMD.
TMD. Are you experiencing too
So
much Dane? Call 1-800
yes,
too much Dane.
555 TMFD.
Literally. Literally. She could have
Yes,
like made some of these chapters like 10 pages shorter if we didn't have so much fucking Dane.
literally. It's fine. Just I'm like, really, Mira? That is a can of worms you really want to open up right now when we're gonna try and go see her family? Like, let's have a happy moment.
Oh my gosh, speaking of which, I saw Rebecca. I don't know how recent this was, so don't like come at me, people, but I saw her doing it was like answering questions, and
Mm-hmm.
it bothers me every time, but when people are like, the real enemies to lovers is Violet and Dane.
No.
And her reaction though was so funny because she like read
Mm-hmm.
it and then she was like, like you guys just really no, that's not it.
She's like, this is not a Timmy Tam situation.
we
Violet
don't
and
get
Zayden are
we don't
endgame.
no yes, but also we don't need that redemption arc. Like I do not care about your story at all. Scum of the
He
earth,
he
Dane.
has he has his
No,
times.
No.
in Iron
No.
Flame, and you're just like, all right, that was redemption enough for you. Like, you don't deserve a whole
That's what
lot
I'm
more.
saying.
Like,
That's what I'm
cool.
saying. Book
Yeah, we don't
3
need
hopefully
more.
has less. Because I've had too much fucking day.
TMFD.
TMFD. Sounds like a
Also,
disease.
when I went, sounds like an STD.
Yeah.
He is an STD. Um, and when I went to the midnight release party of Iron Flame, they put signs on every single trash can that just said Dane.
Mm-hmm.
I have a picture of it. I should post it on our page. That's pretty
You
funny
should.
content now that I think
It
about
is.
it.
Yes. Yes. That is the content we are here for. Dane is trash. TMFD. Oh my gosh.
So we have the TMD, the TMFD, Dane equals trash.
Dane equals trash. It's
Trademarked.
everywhere.
All those. Trademarked.
And JFB. Jack fucking Barlow.
Right.
Who's the real villain?
Oh,
Who is it?
am I the villain? That's Dane. Am I the drama?
Am I the problem?
Yes, Dane. You
Yes.
are.
Yes, you are.
You know, and then Violet brings up, it's not Violet who brings up, Mira brings up, she says, is it true Ryerson saved you that night? And, you know, Violet kind of explains to her, like, yes, he was there, things are complicated. And Mira's like, I distinctly remember warning you to steer clear of that traitor's son. And we're just like, Mira.
It's
Mira.
kind of icky. It's a little icky.
Like, I get it. That's how she sees it. That's the only thing that she gets and that she understands. But you did not just shade Zaddy like that.
Yeah. It's icky. And
Don't
I
like that.
know, yeah, Traitor's son. Traitor. Icky. It's so icky. Again, going back to like you only know what you're told. But
Yeah.
that's I suppose you can only form an opinion about what you know and not about what you don't know.
Gross behavior, people.
Don't be a mirror. Don't be icky.
Love fiercely like Mira. Don't judge like Mira.
Exactly. We're all beautiful books with beautiful covers waiting to be revealed. God.
I hate this. I hate this so much.
Okay, I'm crying.
Why are we the way that we are?
I don't know. Okay.
It's
Okay.
fine.
I could do it. Pull it
It's
together.
fine. But you know, as Rhiannon is back with her family, she's snuggling with her cute, perfect little nephew and all of that. Mira's like, you mean the book I snagged just in case Mom got a wild hair and decided to clean out your things while you were in the quadrant? Letting Violet know that she ended up actually saving her Fables book from her father that they could not find in the archives.
She says, I mean, whatever would you do if you forgot a minute detail of how the gallant riders took out the army of Wyvern and the venom who sucked the land dry of magic?
I mean, are we the minions right now?
Da, da,
Dun,
da.
dun, dun.
Yes. One eye. I love that she saves it. It's like
Yeah.
such a silly little thing to her, but because like this is her baby sister and this one thing that she like held dear from her dad, Mara saved it. And it's like, oh, it's so sweet. It's so nice
It
of
is. It's so
you.
sentimental and doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
understand the importance that it holds yet.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Ugh. But just the whole section, like they're having their conversation, but we can't ignore the fact that Rhiannon is just back there. Actually got to meet her nephew. She's survived almost the entire first year. She's with her family. They get to be with her again. It's just, it's so heartwarming.
Wholesome. It's a wholesome moment.
And then,
then casually,
yeah.
How long can mated pairs stay away?
Turns out about 3 days is their max. Xaden steps out of the shadows.
Ooh. Was there even a shadow, or was he just creating?
I was gonna say, is it shadowed or is it Xaden shadows?
Yeah. That is chapter 26.
Chapter 26 is just so good.
It's a happy little chapter.
It is. It's short, it's sweet, a cute little zaddy moment, All right, and just checking right along into chapter 27. What is our chapter summary?
Back in Montserrat, Mira briefs the entire squad on what potential threats they might see at a post like this from their enemies. Remember, their goal is to keep the wards intact and protect Navarre. When the entire squad misses the purpose of the exercise, thanks, Riddick, Mira makes them form a plan of how they would work together using their individual strengths to ward off enemies. Suddenly, though, the exercise becomes real and the wards are down and griffins are spotted. Dun dun dun!
We really need a dun 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 button. I don't know how many times we've said this, but we need one.
It needs to be like the Minions version, though. Dun dun dun!
Dun dun dun!
Yes. Yes. That feels more on brand.
It does. It really does.
Not really for Fourth Wing and the aesthetic that this book is, but for our personalities. Da da da.
100%.
Yeah. This chapter's good. Real
It
good.
is good. And I mean, Mira really puts them in their fucking place, too.
She fucking kills me in this chapter. Like, but Riddick,
But Riddick.
So
all we do is wait for something to happen as he's just like, really? We sit around and do nothing?
Twiddle our thumbs. This is bullshit. I did not sign up for this.
Like, yes, but this is your moment of peace amongst chaos, so take it.
Just this brief moment as she's like smacking him. Like, shut the fuck up.
Get your feet off the table.
Oh.
It's like Harry Potter.
Oh. 2 Harry Potter references this episode.
I know. And he's like, fade off the table.
Fade off the table.
I love them. I love them so much.
Not you. Oh, not me. Not Hermione.
Not Hermione.
You. You.
I can't.
Not me. Not Rhiannon. You, Violet. Riddick.
Riddick would be the one to say Riddick. It too.
Yes.
The very bottom of this page, Dane won't stop glaring at him, Xaden, and making snide remarks like, TMFD, okay? TMFD.
Like, why are you here? Also, how they broke up the groups. Dane, Riddick, Liam, Emery, Quinn, and Violet. Like, no.
Plus Xaden. No.
And Xaden. This whole thing is so funny because, yeah, they're like, oh, well, Xaden's here and he's the wing leader, so he should be in charge. And Dane is like so put off.
He should be put off about this because you know what, Dane? You little bitch.
You're a little bitch. Bitch crybaby.
Crybaby Dane.
Crybaby Dane. TMFD.
TMFD. But, I think it's really cool though that Mira kind of takes them in and under her wing and is like, you know what? Let's set up the whole scenario. Like, you want to learn about the front lines? This is the real shit of the front lines. So, how do we do this? Let's make it real. And it's just so cool.
They set up a post, right? Overnight. But, like, the sarcasm that they're fucking giving her. Like, oh, we're just
I
supposed
know.
to pretend
Emery's
it
like,
popped up
really?
overnight. Yes. Fucking.
Like, it's it's an exercise.
Yeah, she's like, for the sake of argument, third year. Yeah.
He sits up a little straighter. Like, oh shit, okay.
Riddick kills me. Like they had time to build a fortress overnight. She's like, you are all so fucking literal. Yes. It's an exercise.
It has to be wooden, right?
Clearly. Couldn't be stone. That would take too long.
I just, like, okay, yep, but dragons could just burn it being wood, so there you go. Like all right.
God, shut up. Just do the exercise as is meant to be. Pretend. Use your imagination. I know you don't have any because you're like in these real world scenarios, but use your fucking imagination for 2 seconds.
Well, even Quinn is like, the civilians didn't call for help, and goes off about the protocol to the riders who are actually in the front lines. Like, are you serious? They know what the protocol is. You think there's always time for protocol? This is not college.
Like, but protocol says, okay, but in a real life scenario, you can't go by the book.
Yeah.
Hello? Life or death,
you got to
people.
make do
Life or
with
death.
what the situation is. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Quinn, Emery, shut up.
Dane looks like his head
Also
is
Riddick.
about to explode.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, when Mira asked or just in general, how many have you been called out as third years? And Emery and Zayden are the only two that raise their hand. And Dane's just like, that's not correct. Like, bitch, you're a second year. What do you even know?
What do you know? You literally know nothing.
I know nothing. Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Dane Ados. I really wish he would just respond with, I know nothing.
He just, I know nothing.
And I just love that. It says, Zayden presses his lips in a tight line and nods, giving him a sarcastic thumbs up. And I just picture Zayden in the corner like, like,
sure.
Okay, buddy.
Like, fuck you. But really, I just want to fuck you. For real.
It's so funny. And they're like, yeah, nah, Dane, you're wrong.
I like how Mira's
like, all right.
She's like over it. She's like, okay, we're moving on. But she says, think of the power of this room. Think of what each individual writer brings to the table and how much you'd use those powers in unison to conquer your objective. And so then they're all sitting there, like, going through each individual person, talking about their dragons, their strengths, their signets, what each of them offers. I love this part because, one, you get all the signets again, but also the attention to Zayden as week leader, and and then we'll get to it down the page, but
yeah,
don't fuck with my friends.
At the very top of this page is 336 if anyone has their books while listening, but it does talk about how in the page prior that Mira kind of starts eyeing Liam's relics, and we learn that everyone in this room has become accustomed to Liam, Imogen, even Zayden, but those in active service have never flown with anyone marked by a rebellion relic. So, like, it makes sense, Zayden being the oldest, him being the third year, getting ready to graduate, but it's like, it's just really put into perspective. You're like, oh shit, they're actually about to go out in the front lines. They're already treated so differently in the college. How are they going to be treated out in the real world?
And then working amongst these other riders as defenders of Navarre, but being like the traitors that they are, or kids of these traitors, like that tension is already so palpable, and they haven't even graduated yet.
Yeah.
Kills me.
I just feel so bad.
It's Zayden.
It's not their fault anyway. Like, you don't blame the children for the actions of their parents.
No.
It's just so mind-blowing that they think that's okay. But yes, Violet's like, don't fuck with my friends, towards her sister, and we love that.
Yeah, she'll always stick up for him, because really, this is her found family, and they have gone above and beyond to not only protect her and like keep her alive at the sake of Zayden, but also because they know that she has so much to offer, and the strengths that she's going to have being bonded to both Tarn and Adarna. Like, there's so much. There's like, this is a lethal weapon waiting to be unleashed.
Yeah. And, we kind of have a little power struggle moment, because, Mira's like, all right, let's do this. Who's in command? And Dane immediately. I'm in command. Liam's like, excuse you? Our wing leader's here.
Wing leader. Nudge,
but
nudge.
Zayden's retort is the funniest damn thing. He's like, oh, just pretend I'm not here, whatever. But he's like, give Ados here the position we all know he craves. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, TMD.
Bird.
TMFD. We do not need you. And then, of course, Violet is just like in an awkward position of like, okay, like, chill, don't be a dick though. And he's like, you haven't even seen me start to be a dick, but it's italicized, meaning he's speaking to her through the bond for the first time, and she shits her pants.
Literally.
And she's like, oh my god. He says, my mouth drops open as I stare at the side of Zayden's face. That was his voice in my fucking head.
Stop staring. Or you're staring. It's going to get awkward in about 30 seconds if you don't stop.
Their first interaction, and then he like, though I'm starting to, he says, the same way you talk to Scale, we're all gloriously annoying linked. This is just one of the perks, though I'm starting to wish I'd tried it sooner. The look on your face is priceless. He winks and turned backs to the table. He fucking winked. And is that a hint of a smile? I can't. The whole like fated mates thing. This was how I was with ACOTAR too. Like, being able to talk without speaking out loud is like the coolest thing ever. Yeah. I want a dragon.
I so wish I had that.
Only to be able to do this. Like, yeah, can I just communicate through? That way, when I go to text you, I don't have to actually text you. I could just be like,
Unagi. That is unagi.
Reference back to last episode. Nuggies?
Nuggies. I'm just like, Ross Geller. Unagi. Danger!
Okay. Calm,
cool, while they're having their funny little moment while Zayden's talking in her head, Dane is just seething. He's like, you're the wing leader. Zayden's like, I'm not even supposed to be here. Have at it, dude. Like, I don't give a shit.
Gosh. But then to turn and like, if it makes you feel better, for the purpose of war games, you'd be getting your orders from your section leader, Garrick, which
Mm-hmm.
then is
He's gonna
still putting
promote.
it, yes, putting Zayden in the position of power, and you know this just pisses Dane off even further. It's just so good. Oh god.
And then Dane really is like, "Why are you even here?" And we just retort, "Dane, why are you the way that you are?"
Why are you the way that you are? TMFD. Sit down. Be quiet.
So, they're like, "Well, obviously, mated dragons. That they're up. It's up to Tard and Segale. They need to be together." And Zayden in Violet's head, "You've never considered that it was you I couldn't stay away from?" And we're like, giggling, kicking our feet, laughing, screaming, dying inside.
Not inside, out loud. Physically
Extremely
writhing,
noticeable.
writhing on the floor, excited, screaming. Just giddy as shit.
Yep. But it's like we have this like cute little happy giddy moment, and then you just get pissed because Dane's like, "Of course you rushed to defend him," and you're like, "You know what, you bitch? Shut the fuck up."
Shut the fuck up.
I'm crying.
But he does, and he like says things only to piss her off further, and like brings up like, he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to kill you 6 months ago, and she's like, literally, I can't believe you're bringing it
Really?
up again, because we've moved past this. Like, him
This
and
is
I are
not six
now
months ago.
stuck together, and you're still bringing this shit up that like really has nothing to do with you, quite frankly.
Yeah. But Violet's little like jab back at him after that whole back and forth, she goes, "You want to do your job? I mean, how you can forget you're the squad leader is beyond me." I was like, "Oh shit."
Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it.
It's just so great. But we get into some amazing strategies, and we've already seen their signets in play when they were stealing the map. But knowing how they could be extremely beneficial in battle and where people could be to be productive is so cool.
Well, especially at like for Quinn, for instance, like being
Mm-hmm.
able to astral project and not even having to be physically in that same vicinity.
Yeah.
Huge strength, like mind blowing. The
From
coolest.
the back of her dragon, she could do that. Put her projection in to scope everything out and still be riding a
Mm-hmm.
dragon. That's insane.
It's fucking mind blowing. It's literally one of the coolest signets. Like, didn't we say this would be yours?
I don't know, but that would be pretty cool.
I feel like we talked about it at one point, but
We
like,
probably did.
why not? Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Two places at once, literally.
Mm-hmm. And to not be in a position to physically get injured because you're on the back of your
Mm-hmm.
dragon, like, win-win. Win-win-win.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You
Michael
win,
Scott.
I win, Michael Scott wins.
Don't know how he relates here, but win-win-win.
Because Michael is the regional manager of Basgiath, so
He clearly is.
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Moving right
I just,
along.
I love it. But Dane still is just being a little bitch here because Quinn's like, "Oh, like, what's your signet?" Trying again just to be a part of the exercise and,
Mm-hmm.
figure out how everyone can be beneficial. And his response is so douchey. Above your pay grade.
Literally.
Okay,
So
bitch.
douchey. But then to think that, like, nobody really knows what his signet is.
Mm-hmm.
Some
Like,
sketchy shit, Dane. Some sketchy shit.
I understand that it's extremely useful to Navarre and,
But being
trying to
within the college, though, like, to play devil's advocate here,
uh-huh.
like, being within the college and at the sake of like other students and like learning about different abilities and signets and stuff,
Yeah.
like, why would that not be discussed and shared and like like not research but like practice within the
Hmm.
college, you know?
I'm sure they're doing it in their own ways, but like you should at least be able to talk about these things. And
Yeah.
obviously, they don't want people running their mouths, but still, like, yes, his signet is an asset as much as I hate to admit
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you don't have to be a dick
You had
about
one
it.
good
You're
thing and
not
you ruined it because you're
cool.
Dave.
Yeah, like, it doesn't make you cool.
No,
Sorry.
it's above your pay grade.
But, Zayden showing off his shadows when Dane kind of questions his ability, just like such a subtle brag. And I love it because here's Dane, like, above your pay grade. Like, that's a brag, but it's such a douchey way to do it. Whereas Zayden's just
Such a,
like, oh, yeah, this is my talent, and then reels it back in, no problem.
but the little like nudge to
I
Violet
know.
of like, relax, it's just me.
It's just me.
Like, wrap me up in your shadows. Thank you.
Can't sleep? Shadows. Scared? Shadows.
Mm.
Happy? Shadows.
I'm looking for a man with shadows.
Well,
Onyx
we
eyes,
have quite a few of
wing
them
leader.
throughout the
Now
throughout
I
the
have a
books for
whole
you to pick
song.
from.
Yeah, now I've got a whole song I need to work out. Mm.
I think it's just so great that they really execute this exercise really well. They take in a really good lesson, and everyone kind of like learns something that day. And Mira's like, all right, cool, great, but the three of us, or four of us, I should say, Mira, Violet, Zayden, and Dane, we have to have a chat because
We got
what
a
the
little
fuck?
chitty chat. Chitty chat. She is pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mira. I see both sides. Like, kind of, she's a little, well, okay, she's like higher ranked, so she's not really stepping out of line. But like, the way she's coming at it, like, I don't know what bug crawled up your ass, Dane Ados, but have you forgotten that you're a squad leader, that you have a very real chance of becoming a wing leader next year? Of like, it's crossing the line of like you're mixing personal and work at this point,
Yeah. Which,
but
like, it's probably
also
hard
put him in his
not to
place.
do. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's probably
truth.
hard not to do, being her sister, growing up with Dane, her negative
Mm-hmm.
connotations towards Zayden already.
100%.
I'm sure it's hard for Mira to not cross that personal boundary while also being
Mm-hmm.
professional. But even Dane tries to get a little personal. He's like, Mira. And she says, Lieutenant Sorengale. And you're like, oh, you're big mad. Like,
Yeah.
hooey.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's really awkward. But then also Dane just being like, he's the worst possible thing for her. Like,
Yeah.
what an awkward thing to say. And now, and like, everyone's in the room. So, okay,
Yeah.
now there's a giant elephant in here. And she just goes on to say, oh, I'm not arguing that, but there's nothing anyone can do about the choice of the dragons. Like,
It's
why?
realistic.
It's just this conversation that keeps being brought up. And it's like, what? Like, there's nothing that even Violet and Zayden can do about it. So move the fuck on. Like, they're stuck together and
Yeah.
move on. And now you're just literally having a pissing match over it.
Yep. And it's Zayden's not even playing.
No.
Like, this is all you. This is a
Mm-hmm.
solo game on you, Dane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's Dane, so.
And even Mira's like, to Violet and Dane, like, you are hurting your squad here. You two need to figure your shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, like, even I'm like, did I just get put in my place?
Yeah, I feel like I just got yelled at by Mama Mira.
Literally.
She is not having it. I also love that Zayden. Obviously, I feel like this is like a man thing, but like never calls him by his name. I mean, he does, but it's always Ados.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's like a backhanded thing, not of like a
It totally
respect
is.
thing, but it's like, oh, Ados.
Yeah, 100%.
And I love
But,
it because, yeah, no.
it's just, we love it.
Mm-hmm.
But, when Mira decides to talk about Violet being to a position where she won't ever grow, she won't ever succeed because she's going to be stuck just following Xaden wherever he goes because their dragons can't be apart and blah, 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 blah. And Xaden's like, you're not listening. I am here. Tarn didn't drag her back to Basgiath. He didn't break through her shield and pour his emotions into her. He didn't demand she fly across the fucking kingdom. Your sister is still right here. I'm the one who left my post, my position, and my executive officer in charge of my wing. She's not missing out on shit.
Mm, mm, mm.
Thank you. Say it.
Thank you. But literally, her retort back is like, well, what about next year? Like, what about when you're not at the school? Like, he still outranks her at this level. Like, he's a third year,
Yeah.
she's a first year. He far outranks her. And the fact that he's there where she's at says a lot about the whole relationship that's going on. Like, Mira is this outsider in this position. She doesn't know what's
Yeah.
happening. She also doesn't know that, yeah, Xaden wants to be close to Violet. It's not just the dragons. That's a huge part of it. But, like, he also wants to be there. And he will do everything, not just for the sake of himself, but because now he's developing these feelings and cares about her, like, wants to keep her safe too and, like,
Mm-hmm.
go protect her. And she's the one that's at risk being outside at this post. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to her, see what's happening, see where my girl at.
Right. And, she's like, he's been helping me. I couldn't even keep my seat. Amira's freaking out. And he comes to
Oh
defend
God.
her. He's like, no, she is getting better. She is
Mm-hmm.
working hard. She is trying. Like, it's just so cool because he's already going off about her safety. And then Tarn gets into her head and says, there's a drift of griffins headed this way. As if things are not
Internal
already
screams.
tense. Literally.
Internal screams. And Mira, fuck, the wards are down. Like, why is this happening right now?
Worst time.
Oh, because we don't talk about real things that happen in Battle Brief. We talk about bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the shit that's been happening. So get ready, buckle up.
Mira's like, Xaden, you have to get her out of here. Like, you are the best weapon she has to keep her safe. Get her the fuck out of here. And Violet's like, I don't fucking think so. Sister
Xaden
standoff.
snarls at Mira. Even if you don't trust me, I'm the best weapon you have.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So good. Get her out. Get her out. The whole... He literally wants to protect her so much in this whole thing.
Yeah.
And literally the only way he's getting her out is convincing her that it's not just for her and Mira. Think about all the people that are in your squad. Riddick, Sawyer, Rhiannon, Sienna. Like, to put that into her mind in that moment, because, she's just thinking about Mira. So to put it in her mind of, like, all these other people, like, no, yeah, protect them all.
Even Dane has his moment here because Xaden's like, no, like, you have to go. We have to save you. We have to save everybody. And Dane says, for once, Ryerson and I agree. It's not just you we have to get out, Violet. Think of every other first year. Are you going to sentence an entire untrained squad to death? Because I'll make it. Sienna, Emery, and Heaton will too. And we all know fucking Ryerson will. But what about Rhiannon? Riddick? Sawyer? You want their deaths on your hands? Could you imagine that blow to Violet? Like, obviously she needs to hear it to be realistic about the situation, but, like, how hard that would be for her?
No.
I just can't.
But then realistically, how
sad
they're
would that
leaving
be?
this too, of like, they're running off of this roof and just jumping onto their dragons.
Yep. While their dragons are in motion.
Yeah, like she can't even barely climb up Tarn's leg, let alone leap into the air and gradually land. Like, no. The stress that I have reading this whole section of like, what's gonna happen? How's she gonna get out there?
I know.
And Tarn the whole
And
time is
it's
like, I'm almost there. Like, I was doing what I could be done, like trying to get to her as quickly as possible because this already is such a high stress moment. And so,
and he was helping.
And helping, yes. Doing as much as he possibly can to defend and keep them from getting any closer. But then also Xaden, as the perfect distraction that he is, to any scenario.
Yeah. I just, the fact that, she's begging him and it says there's so much compassion, so much understanding in his eyes. Like, he feels so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kisses her. But did your heart just break what he says when he breaks the kiss? Leave for me, Violet?
Yes.
Yes. Like, stop.
Two sides
it's just
to
so
like
sad.
Yeah, like leave for me because one, you need to like go with everyone else and protect yourself, but like also I can't focus on helping and being where I need to be with Sigale if you're here.
Yeah. And Violet says that Xaden was stalling to give the dragons time to arrive to take them. And I'm sure that was part of it, but honestly, that he knew there was danger.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you know what? I'm going to kiss you anyway.
I 100% just need to kiss you in this very scary moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. Like, if you think that might be your last moment, like, you want to have that last, like, happy goodbye type of thing. So I get it.
But that's also why she says, I will hate you for this. Because she thinks her leaving will lead to Mira's death. And so,
yeah,
if that were to happen, could you even imagine?
Oh my gosh, no, because she literally would hate him so much.
This whole book would be garbage.
Literally, the rest of it would just.
The enemies would never become lovers. They would be enemies to enemies. Fated enemies
to nemesis.
Mm-hmm. It would just be awful.
Even Tyron, after he picks her up and they start flying away, he says, I've done everything I can and will not risk your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he helped. He also saved her. It's just like so many emotions in such a very short period of time.
It is. But there's also that little happiness at the very end, too. I look over my shoulder. Okay, happy and then sad. I look over my shoulder and see Xaden and Sigale approaching quickly, and farther behind them, hundreds of feet below, a dozen griffins envelop the keep. Yeah.
Like, Rebecca, why do you have to end chapter 27 on that line? Because how traumatizing would that be for her to see and then just have to go back to, oh, no contact, it's fine.
Yeah, going into chapter 28, like, I'm with her, like, pissed because you just left your sister behind. You finally got to see her after how many months away of complete no contact, and now you're leaving in the worst possible scenario. They're under attack.
Literally. It's just... Okay, you know what? Before we dwell too long on this, because we will.
Let's go to chapter 28.
What's our chapter 28 summary?
Okay. Back at Basgiath, everyone seems to have moved on from the terror that unfolded at Montserrat, except Violet. Is Mira alive? Is she okay? The professors have claimed it to be classified, but only one question matters, and Mira is alive. Thank God. Although the trouble has been avoided for now and Violet knows Mira is safe, war games are about to begin and it's a whole new beast that none of them are really prepared for. Except maybe Tarn, as he has worked with Zaddy and fashioned a new saddle for Vi to use while they fly. But once the games commence, all hell breaks loose, but so does something inside of Violet.
I love the little summaries. They're so great. It also helps my memory.
Oh.
Because I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happened in this chapter.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sometimes they're more detailed and sometimes I like just do the big chunks and then I'm like,
yeah.
Like the saddle is really important though in this chapter.
It's very key. Yeah.
Yeah. And also I just love that Tarn and Zayden did it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, what a cute little Anywho.
Well, and it's been 2 days now since the Griffin attack. And they had a really long day of flight and then a day of silence. And Violet's like, I have to know. So she is not sleeping. She's not doing anything. She is waiting outside Professor Markham's office. Office, right? Yeah, Professor Markham's office.
Mm-hmm.
Just so she can try and know. And of course, Zayden walks into the hallway holding 2 steaming pewter mugs as he heads straight for me. Like, how considerate of you to bring her coffee when you know she's not sleeping, you know she's stressed.
Well, and to know that that's where she's going to be heading because of how much stress is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Cute. And you're just like, here, baby, have some coffee.
Yeah, I do love it. Like, he's just really trying to take care of her.
Mm-hmm.
Despite her anger towards him right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's just doing what he can.
Of course, yeah. The conversations between Zayden and Sigale of like knowing Sigale is communicating with Tarn of like she's not sleeping, she hasn't slept in days, she's stressed the fuck out. And then Violet being like mad. Like
quit telling Sigale about my sleep habits.
Well, someone needs to know. We're worried about you. And then her little retort though. And Darna is my favorite.
Darna's my favorite. It's like, so good.
Well, I bet she is. She stays out of it. So how could she not be?
When they were at the keep, Mira really kind of makes Violet think because she's like, what do you even actually know about Zayden? And that hit home with Violet. So she's now realizing like, wow, I know almost nothing about him. Yeah, I feel like I know who he is. And so she just starts asking him questions like, how old are you? And all of that. But the fact that Zayden's like, yeah, I know your birthday's in July. Yes, I know all this about you. Of course, I did my research on you.
Mm-hmm. But then also, like, his reasoning of initially to now, like
night and day.
Literally, he says, can't know how to ruin someone without understanding them first. And she's like, well, what changed? And just the whole, like, detail list.
It's so good.
So good.
Okay.
Give me the whole thing.
I'm like, I'll just do it because
yeah.
If you're not reading along with us, you don't know exactly what he says probably. And it's just like, whew.
It's so good.
Maybe it was when I saw Oren holding a knife to your throat, he says. Or maybe it was when I realized the bruises on your neck were fingerprints and wanted to kill them all over again just so I could do it slowly. Maybe it was the first time I recklessly kissed you, or when I realized I'm fucked because I can't stop thinking about doing more than just kissing you. My breath catches at his admission, but he sighs, lets his head fall back against the wall, and then we go to the italicized being in her head. Does it even matter when, as long as it changed between us? And you're just like, oh, okay. He fell first. We already knew, but he said
He
it.
fell
He has admitted
first.
it.
He is. It's out in the open. Well, technically in her mind, but
It's both.
it's both. And literally, I mean, thank God I haven't been trying to be killed, but like, if my husband, like, so specifically told me when he fell in love with me,
I know.
like,
Now I want to ask.
this is a touch her and you die. Like,
Yeah.
that's what he's admitting. Like, touch her and you die. I love her that much, and I would do
Mm-hmm.
anything for her. And like, ah,
And you know, we go feral for that trope.
that's literally hands down.
It's a top. It's a top tier one because,
yeah, top 3 for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Even though our tropes
But
change so consistently, but we just love it so much.
Mood reader. She says, "Don't do that," and he says, "Don't do what? Tell you I can't get you out of my head or speak directly into yours." It's so good. I just, anytime it's italicized, like, please just live in my brain, because I
Yes,
don't need you to
seriously.
speak out loud. His gold flecked
Well, and
eyes. Oh God! Like, I just
I know.
fall in love all over.
And when he's telling her, like, you know, it's the same as when you talk to Tarn or Andarna or Sigil, like, find that channel of power. And so she starts looking, you know, she can, like, see the different areas where she speaks to both of her dragons. But she says, I take a deep breath and turn slowly, and there, swirling along the edge of the roofline, is a shadow of sparkling night. Like, of course he's a shadow. Of course he
And of
is.
course it's sparkling. Stop.
He's a vampire.
Okay.
Zayden's like,
Edward,
say
is
it
that you?
out loud.
Say it. Shadow Daddy.
Dragon Rider.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. And then I look down and Dane says, "Guess you two had the same idea."
Get out of our head, Dane. God.
TMFD.
TMFD. God. But you know, Dane's like, oh, how long have you been here? And Zane's like, not long, about like hours. I love Xaden talking in Violet's head and while answering Dane's questions. Like, it's just so funny.
It's like so annoying because like Dane wants to pretend like he fucking cares when he doesn't give two shits about Violet. Like, not really. He cares about her in like this fake pretentious way, but not the way that Xaden
he cares,
does. So
but not in a like actual friendship way anymore.
Yes, 100%. Like, he cares to be nosy and like feel in control. And that's icky, Dane. But so he's like, oh my god, like, are you hungry? Did you eat breakfast? Yeah, Zayden's like, no, dumbass, she doesn't, obviously. Oh god.
I just love that. I love it so much. And you know, when you were just talking about that a second ago, it kind of makes me wonder, like, was Dane like that in their childhood and Violet just didn't notice because he was just kind of like, you know, when you're kids, there's like a group and sometimes there's like one that's like the leader. I wonder if that's how their childhood was and she just like didn't make that connection, or if all of this really changed him that much. It's an interesting thought.
That is an interesting thought. I don't know. But then we quickly move
probably
into...
won't ever know.
No. I could see it though, because he's Dane.
Yeah, and unless Rebecca gives us more insight, then we'll never know. But you were moving on into Professor Markham showing up.
Professor Markham showing up, and of course, just being like, "To what do I owe the pleasure?" Like a fucking dumbass.
So like, casual, even though he knows.
He knows, but like, why are you being a douche about it? Like, obviously, you know why I'm here. Is my sister alive? Is
Yeah.
she dead? Am I gonna be heartbroken for the rest of my life? Please tell me, because I've already been through this pain twice before. So please tell me. And
Yeah.
he's just such an ass. Well, I can't give out classified information. We'll discuss it
Like,
in battle
come
brief.
on. Yeah, like drop the bullshit and just tell me.
Mm-hmm. So frustrating, but then we move on, and
I just
obviously,
I hate though, like when she feels the relief, her knees give out. Dane catches me, pulling me into his familiar hug. I'm like, ew,
yeah,
ew.
ew, ew. Like, why are you the one to be reaching out when,
Yeah.
ew, no. Yeah, so frustrating. Like, why are you here, Crybaby Dane? And then for her
Mm-hmm.
to try to keep it together and then turn to look and Zayden's just gone. Ugh,
Yeah.
like the heartbreak.
He heard the
Obviously,
news. Everything's okay. He knows his girl's gonna be okay, but also Dane and Markham are there, so he's got to give space.
yeah, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go. But for her to
He
hold it
knows how to read
together
a
and
room.
unlike Dane, read the fucking room, bro. But she holds it together all the way until she's back at Flight Field in Andarna's arms, breaks down. Like
Yeah. Just she's alive.
she,
She's alive.
she
She's alive.
Andarna is safe space.
Absolutely. But it gets kind of funny because, like, we have that sense of relief, and now Violet's back to asking personal questions. Do you have any siblings? Like,
I'm
I
just
just
really
love that
curious.
that she just like starts with that like get to know you first date kind of chit chat. It's so great.
Mm-hmm. And then asking him like what his favorite food is.
Right? Chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake. Stop being weird.
Stop being weird. I love that she's just asking him these questions. And he's like,
But
what
then
is
she
with you?
gets
What's with all the
personal.
questions?
Yeah.
And it's
She
just so
gets
funny. But yeah, she gets personal and she's like wanting to know. Liam's already told her the truth, but she's like, let's
mm-hmm.
see if he is going to tell me the truth
Mm-hmm.
about the two of them. And he does tell her the truth, just in the most minuscule possible way.
Yeah. It's like only a little at a time.
He's like, you know me well enough.
Mm-hmm. Which I like that
Like,
Taryn, he's like, are you pushing for a reason? And
yeah.
he's just like, he cares for you. It's already hard enough for him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like,
But the whole, he
the
cares about keeping
whole,
me alive. There's a difference. And he responds, not for him, there isn't.
mm-hmm,
Oh,
mm-hmm. Especially
I
all the
just,
backstory of Zayden that she hasn't gotten yet, but like we know the whole backstory
mm-hmm.
of him. And then she's asking these personal questions, and he's like, just trust me, like, know that I care, whatever. And she knows that, yet, isn't this kind of how all women are? Like, you're like, but tell me again and again and again.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Which is totally relatable in this moment, even though we're not writing dragons.
It's fine. Mentally, we
I
are.
am. I am writing dragons, yes.
And then we just take a whole big jump right into war games.
God. Yeah.
So stressful, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Just like, I get it, but so scary. And, they're all just chatting, like, where are we going to be? Are we on the offensive side? Are we on the defensive side? What is going to happen?
What is the plan here?
But
How does this work? What's the, like,
yeah,
just the whole layout of how this goes? They don't really know. So they're all just chatting about it, which is great. But
I think it's
also,
super funny though when Violet's like, why do you think riders wear black anyway? Riddick because it's badass.
Yeah.
But Imogen's
And then
like, it's harder to see when we bleed.
like the real reason. But Riddick's like, because we're badasses.
You're like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but is that the reason?
Literally. And then going into little sidebar of like Zayden and Violet again communicating via mind of like, she's like, tell me, are we offense or defense? And he's like, I'm a little fucking busy right now. She's like, oh no, am I distracting you? Like flirting, but she's like, shit, should I be flirting?
Right?
Yes.
Do
Do
I
I care? Oddly enough, no.
Like, well, it's fine. It's fine.
Give a girl a hint. I know.
Yeah, he lets them know they're on both offense and defense. Like, how okay, like, I guess we're just gonna have to figure out how that works here.
It's a Quidditch match of
Yeah.
retrieving and protecting. You are on both.
Third Harry Potter reference.
Third Harry Potter reference. Man, we're on a roll today.
Wait. I think this might be number 4 because you had your announcer moment. We had our feet off the table. We did the chess scene, and now we're on Quidditch. So it's 4.
Yes, we're killing it. I have been
doing great.
It's been on my mind a lot lately because, well, I sent you that set of books, and then something else popped up on Instagram, I think, and now. Oh, and then I was talking to someone about rereading, and I was like, I don't really reread a whole lot, but like I was talking about the podcast and like Fourth Wing, rereading Fourth Wing. I was like, I don't read a whole lot, but I've read Harry Potter quite a few times, and only certain books I feel like I've reread, not all of them, but I don't reread a whole lot. But now I want to just go watch the movies and like have a cozy night in watching Harry Potter. That sounds lovely. I love Harry Potter.
If we didn't already have plans tonight, that's exactly what I would be doing.
Oh.
Yeah, we have plans tonight together in 3 hours, so.
I about was like, I don't have any plans tonight.
We gotta wrap this one up so we can make dinner.
For anyone listening, we are recording another episode tonight, and it's our first author interview for the podcast, and it's super exciting.
Yay!
Yay!
We're so excited. It's gonna be so good.
We are so excited. I think it'll be really fun and like interesting to have a third party to this chaos.
Yeah. See if
like they're either gonna love it or hate it. Hopefully they love it because we're so excited.
She's gonna love it.
Yeah. I just can't believe. I remember because when we talked about the podcast forever ago, and just like in brief, we would be like, we should host a podcast. We could talk to all these authors. We could go to events. We could do this. Like these were all things that we were saying that we wanted to do, but we're also joking, like low key, like you do with your best friend. But to be here hosting a podcast with my best friend about to interview an author for her debut book, like
it's mind-blowing, and we have
it's so surreal,
so much more cool stuff coming up that we haven't shared yet.
Like this is just, I'm just having a surreal moment of like, this is my real life. This is so cool. And I know that like we're just still growing and like it's not this huge thing yet, but to us it is. Like it is such a huge thing. I was telling someone that the other day, like I don't really know how to describe it, of like we haven't hit our peak yet. However, like it doesn't matter of like where we're at and what we're doing, because like truly this has been such a fun thing to do. And like just like if you listen to our podcast and if you're here at all, it means the world. It's so much fun. It's all the things. That's like it's dreams come true just being able to do this.
Doing this. It's we have fun doing what we do. And also now with the things we have coming up, we're adding some variety into our episodes, kind of shaking it up. which is cool because that was our original goal, was to just do a wide variety of things. But the fact that, like, it's a small milestone, but we just surpassed 250 followers on Instagram. We have over 150 on TikTok. Like, it's small, but that is still almost 400 people that care about what we do.
It's phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
truly, from the bottom of our hearts, it's the best ever.
It is.
Get to do this, and it's just awesome. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox now.
I'll cut that and just make it a reel.
Yes, doesn't need to be in the whole podcast, but
yeah, that was good though. That was a cute little moment for us.
Yeah, it was.
Mean
it.
So,
love you.
So they come back and they are finally being told where Dane comes back with Sienna, and they're finally being told what is going on. And Dane is just beaming with happiness. He's like, we are on both, which we already knew, offense and defense.
Right.
But he starts to explain that there's a crystal egg that First Wing has taken, and now they have to try and get the egg, but they also have a flag, and that they need to protect. They can't let First Wing have it. So that's how they're doing both positions, which is so cool.
It's another Harry Potter reference.
Which one?
Like the egg at the bottom of
the
Triwizard Tournament at the bottom of what is the lake?
The egg that they get from the dragon, and then they put it under the water.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. But going back to this, like, Imogen's like, okay, like, how are we doing this? Who's carrying the flag? And this is where Dane really shows that he learned something from Mira's exercise. He's like, hey, we are going to pass the flag around. We're going to utilize our signets and our own strategy. I actually learned something, and I'm doing something someone else's way.
Yes, because we don't have like a set outpost to just like be in to defend this thing.
Yeah.
So let's just work with what we have. Yeah. All right, we'll give him that one little bit. That's it. One little tally.
He has those moments between, like, sometimes this book and a few times the next book. You're just like, okay, I guess.
Fine.
But no, there's no like, we love Dane. No. TMFD. I love, though, like, Rhiannon being so positive as she always is. We're gonna win, and they're just chit-chatting, and Violet's responding and says, my words die as Tarn comes into full view. He stands tall and proud at the front of our section, not bothering to give difference to Kath as Dane's dragon, but it's not his position that steals my breath. It's the saddle strapped across his back that has me gawking.
I hear it's all the fashion.
'Cause it is. He's just so cute.
What a stylish dragon.
Vogue.
Vogue. Literally. She's just like so surprised and also just like in awe of like, what a sweet gesture. But then she's also pissed of like, I can't use that. I won't use that. I already am the weakest, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then them going back and forth of him to her is so good. He says, I decide what's allowed and what's not. Tarn growls, lowering his head to my level and blasting me with a chuff of steam. There is no rule that says a dragon cannot modify their seat to serve their rider. You have worked just as hard, if not harder, than every other rider in the quadrant. Just because your body is built differently than the others doesn't mean you don't deserve to keep your seat. It takes more than a few strips of leather and a pommel to define a rider. And then Xaden.
Love that so much. Well, yeah, and then Xaden just casually walks over and he's like, he's right. If you don't use it, I'll take personal offense, considering I had it made for you and just about got myself burned alive in the process of trying to get it on him.
It's just The way that Tarn just continuously like builds her up and defends her and like
Yeah.
adds to her confidence and like just keeps reiterating like you are a writer, you were meant to be here. That is why I picked you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Thank you, thank you,
He
thank
knows
you.
she needs it. And then Zayden coming in as backup, and he's like, yeah, like, him and I
100%.
secretly
100%.
worked this out because we both care about you. We both know you belong here.
Mm-hmm. She's just like, but no, they're gonna know I'm the weakest. And he's like, I hate to break it to you, Violence. They already know that. you
Sorry,
can't you
but
can't keep your seat. We know.
I love that Zayden's like, yeah, I couldn't give it a flight test, and Tarn's like, you can ride me when the flesh rots off my bones, wing leader.
Yep. Like, we are definitely not gonna test that out today. But then he goes, it says, my fingernails bite into my palms as I search for another reason, another excuse, but there isn't one. I might not want to appear different than every other writer on this field, but I already am. Zayden's expression remains bland, bored even, but his eyes heat as his gaze drops to my mouth. He says, fuck, that stubborn, feisty look you always makes me want to kiss you. Literally the definition of like when you look at your husband, like stubborn and feisty, and then they're just like like the growl that authors write about. Yes. Like, what man is growling? This is Zayden growling. Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
But you know, she's like, you say this now where all the people will see if you actually do. And his response, when did I ever give you the impression that I give a fuck what people think about me? I only care what they think about you. I just cannot.
It's so good. Mount
But you
up,
know,
Sorgal. We have a battle to win.
oh, and then fucking Dane has to come over right now.
I know.
And he's like, is that a saddle? Really? But Zayden, mind speaking to Violet, bet it would be more awkward if I kissed you now, huh? Because you know he wants to.
Tarn's response to Dane coming over and asking if it's a saddle, he's like, no, it's a collar.
No, it's a collar.
Like, it fucking kills me. Like, duh, you dipshit.
And Violet,
God.
the next time we kiss had better not be just a piss off Dane. He's like, next time, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's always a next time. There's always a next time.
I just love it. And you know, Dane's like, oh, it's a great saddle, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, you know what? Shut the fuck up. But Violet gets so sassy with
Nobody
Tarn.
asked you.
No ladder?
Oh, I thought you were trying to help me.
We thought about it.
Thought about it. And decided it would make you too vulnerable. Well, of course she thought about it.
I do love that
shoot.
Andarna gets to come to war games and try and keep up.
She is like the pivotal moment of this chapter.
It's so cute. Just, you know, Violet's like, you need to go roll in the mud because then you won't be spotted as easily. And I'm like, that's actually so freaking smart.
Right? Yeah, you're a glowing, flying dragon, gleaming in the sun. Like, go dirty yourself up.
Right. And you know, Tarn is talking about the leather, like they're going back and forth about the leather, and he says, the leather is a hazard on my chest if we take a fire attack, since your saddle would slide right off. But if you take a direct blast up there, sitting on a piece of metal isn't going to save you. So she's like, oh, I don't bother pointing out the fact that the only fire we're taking is from other dragons, which is a problem that doesn't exist since griffins are all beak and claw. Oh, really now?
Really? That's interesting.
Oh, really now?
Satan still, he just cares. Let me know if it needs
He
modifications
does.
after we win today. Like, okay. Thanks, Daddy.
We are now airborne.
Shit's about to hit the fan.
Oh my gosh. Well, and you know, as they're flying and Darna is not able to keep up, so Tarn just scoops her up in his claws. I'm like, how freaking sweet is that? Like, he's just being so helpful.
He cares. At the sake of Violet, he cares. But then there's
He
this
does.
moment of, it says, power rattles my bones as if it's looking for a way out, and I force myself upright. It's different than usual. Like, instead of standing ready to be molded by my hands, it wants to mold me.
Mm-hmm.
Stirring. It's stirring. Ugh.
Just,
I can't.
and the fact that she's realizing, like, at least she knows this is her
Mm-hmm.
signet manifesting, but she's freaked out. She's like, of course it's today. Like, now I have to focus
Of
on
all
war games
places.
and
Yes.
this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it feels so good.
Just,
She's like, my power is just feeling free because I'm finally not so focused on falling out of my seat. That's all it is. Like, she's able
yeah.
to separate the energy it's taking her to literally stay on Tarn's back and now
Yeah.
manifesting this signet, which is really an interesting thing. Like, that's all it took was her being strapped in.
Well, even at the beginning of the page, you know, that she's talking about the maneuvers he's doing. It says, for the first time, there's no fear that I'll tumble off his back. Slowly, I unclench my hands from the pommels, and a heartbeat later, my hands are above my head as we plummet toward the valley below. I've lived 20 years, and I've never felt as alive as I do in this moment. Like, how cool is that?
It's like when you ride a roller coaster and that drop, but instead
Mm-hmm.
you're like 10 times higher and on a dragon. Mm-hmm. That I could do. I would ride a dragon if I get a saddle. Strap me in.
Harry
Let's
riding a
ride.
broom for the first time.
6
My
references.
brain's on Harry Potter at this point.
It really is now. Like, it's in there. Normally we're office related, but today is a Harry Potter episode, so you get a break from the office.
Even though we've had quite a few office references as well.
They're always in there. They're always in there.
It's all right.
But
oh, hello, Jasper.
oh, hi, honey. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Well, this is Jasper.
Welcome to the podcast.
She's mad that I'm in her favorite seat. Yeah, so they're heading back. They've figured out where they're guarding the egg, and they're like, all right, we've got to get back here. And, you know, as they're turning, a blast of fire goes right by them, and Violet's just like freaking out, realizing, or not remembering that the dragons are fireproof, and she's the only one that's not fireproof.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh God, what the actual fuck?
Right. It's so stressful, but you know, all of this is just so intense, and they're trying to, you know, figure out where the egg is. They're kind of going all sorts of crazy, and Violet finally sees the egg peeking out from the ridge, and there's only one dragon that's guarding it, because you know the rest are out on their little mission to try and keep it safe. But you know, lo and behold, who's in battle with Liam is fucking Jack Barlow.
Yeah. Jack fucking Barlow. Her initial instinct of not going directly for the egg itself, it's we have to help Liam.
Yeah. We're not winning, we are helping our squad.
100%. And well, because it's Jack fucking Barlow, so duh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, motherfucker's always out for blood, but he's just like, on it, got it, let's go. Like, totally in agreement of, yes, help Liam.
And you know, just crazy that like we already have Bade, and I know that it's not supposed to be read as day, but that's all I can read is day.
That's how I
we
think of it.
have Bade and Day going at it with each other, and Tarn's like, no, like this is Liam who's in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Right as they're getting close, Jack jumps from Bade to Day, catching Liam by surprise. Liam doesn't even have like any time to think or fight back, and Jack just runs him through with a sword.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Liam.
Like what?
Liam.
No.
And then for him to like peel him off with his boot, like,
Mm-hmm.
let me just kick you in the chest to pull my sword out of your chest. No.
Just like,
Or
bitch, bye.
stomach,
Yeah,
sorry.
kick you off your
But
fucking
yeah.
dragon.
Oh my God. It's the stress,
Ugh.
the pain it brings me. But immediately
Rage.
they're just like,
Ugh.
catch him. Like, no. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
I'm uneasy. It's hard to even reread, but
I know. We even know what happens, but like still just how fucking terrifying. They're trying to catch him, and there's just absolutely no way that they could get there fast enough until Violet screams for Andarna. Ugh. It's painful.
window in my mind to where her glittering gift lies in wait. Do it, she answers. Focus on everything except you and Tarn. She's right. There's no point in me catching up to Liam if Tarn is frozen. Ugh.
You know, and as we know, using Andarna's power the way that would happen right now is so detrimental to Andarna. So this is such a big deal. We understand that this is life or death for Liam, and
Mhm.
we are not willing to lose him.
She says on the right at the bottom of the page prior, it says, no, my throat closes. I refuse to lose him. Not when he's dedicated so many months of his life to keeping me alive. Failing isn't an option. It's just not. And it's
Yep.
like she was so, put off by the fact that she was awarded this handsomely devilish bodyguard, but now she's come to
Right.
appreciate everything that he has done for her. And now, like in this, like she's like, this is the only way I can repay him is to save him.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking. But yeah, then she reaches back out to Andarna. They get to him, heartbeats. That's all we have. It says, suddenly, we're the only ones moving, plunging through the windless sky toward Liam's frozen body, mere feet from the rugged outcropping of rocks below. And then she says, and Darna, safe. But
Just.
barely a whisper in my mind. She's exhausted from that little bit. She's completely burnt out now.
Poor
So it's
baby.
not,
Like, but they
yeah,
did it for
it's
the best reason possible, and
the
Andarna knows that.
absolute best reason. And that's why she 100% would do it over and over. But
But
man,
Liam is safe.
man.
Liam has been passed over to Rhiannon and Feargay, and Violet is so fucking mad. She is living to her nickname Violence, and she is out for blood. She's like, let's go fucking find him. Climb.
Seething. A growing pair sizzles in my chest as I lock my gaze on power sizzles in my chest as I lock my gaze on Jack. I can see the sick pleasure on his face as we fly closer. The blood that drips from his sword, Liam's blood. Could you imagine, like, the hate I have in my heart right now? The hate I have in my heart for Jack fucking Barlow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. Absolutely not.
It's just
there's just no way.
No.
It makes me
so
mad. And oh my god, so they're climbing and Tarn charges the tower, his wings beating faster and faster, and I instinctually throw my hands forward as though I can project all this power lashing within me toward the enemy who just tried to kill my friend, who has done his best to kill me at every opportunity. That sizzle of magic grows to a lethal, swirling vortex of energy, and though my feet are still firmly grounded, the power rises to a breaking point, and the roof of my archives disintegrates. Power crackles above me, swirls around me, wraps along my feet, below me. I am the sky and the power of every storm that has ever been. I am infinite.
Uh,
What a powerful,
I have goosebumps.
powerful thing.
Goosebumps. It's so good.
And it's the bluish streak of silver death slams into the tower. Sparks flare as it explodes into the blast of stone. Tarn banks to avoid the blast, and I pivot in the saddle. Jack falls down the mountainside in an avalanche of rock that I know he can't survive. And this is when we have that TikTok sound. Oh no, I'm devastated.
I'm devastated. Oh no. I'm not.
The end of this chapter, no matter how many times I have read this book, I have chills right now. And I think we need to say it together because Tarn roars with the unmistakable sound of pride. Lightning wielder.
I know that this book,
I'm not. I have tears, Kelly. I have tears.
You got it. I know that this book, kind of gets, a little backlash for the sense of, the world building and, maybe some of the conversation, the banter is maybe a little more childish or not as complex as, say, Sarah J. Maas. However, I will not take criticism on Rebecca Yarros and Fourth Wing. This book is phenomenal.
Nope. No.
Every book is different and great for different reasons. I shouldn't say every book is great, but every book that this is such a great book to me. It has no flaws other than Dane. However, that also makes
and he's crucial to the story.
I was gonna say that makes the book what it is because we have to have those characters too. But literally, I will take no criticism. This book is phenomenal. The writing,
she makes
the
us
storytelling,
feel.
Yes.
Yeah. Just rereading that chapter again, I'm like, I have chills. I want to cry. I'm proud of her.
I got goosebumps. When
I'm pretty sure my voice broke when I was trying to read that last little part of him roaring with pride. I'm like, yes, he's proud of her.
It's so good. I'm just so not ready for
such a great book.
The next couple episodes.
And it's the fact that we only have 2 episodes left, and these next 2 episodes get so intense, and we'll probably cry, and it's fine.
If you see it, no, you didn't. Oh, it's so good. I know.
But that is the end of chapter 28. That is the end of our chapters for this segment.
We did it. We made it to the end of this chapter section. It was a journey. I feel exhausted from that. I was physically on that dragon, and now I am worn out. Do you get like that when you read? Sometimes it literally makes you exhausted because you're so stressed.
Yeah, for real.
For real. And then I tell my husband that, and he's like, why do you do that to yourself? I'm like, because it's a good book. It makes me feel things.
Yeah, literally, I'm going to keep doing it over and over, so it's fine.
It's fine. I will wear myself out through reading, and it is the best time. I've had the time of my life.
Well, if you stuck around this long, thank you so much for being here for chapters 26 through 28. Our next episode will be covering 29 through 32. Yeah, 32.
Mm-hmm. 32.
It'll be a little bit of a beefier one, but they're going to be so great. Again, if you enjoy our podcast and you're an active FanTEAsy listener, please consider giving us, a like, a follow, a rating, a review, all the things. We would appreciate it so much, and we are just so thankful to have you guys here. But it has been such a fun journey, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks, guys. Bye.